updates here from Pop Turner speaking to Nate O about Season 6, Part 1 of Cobra Kai, streaming now worldwide on Netflix. Welcome back to the show, man. It's always good to see you.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me again.
I mean, this is your third time on the show. It's pretty crazy. Do I have to get you like a mug or like a t-shirt or something?
No, it's been pretty crazy. I guess, 3 times.
Yeah. I think the first time, like, I think we did the interview last time. I think it was like Season 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And now we're talking Season 6.
Yeah.
The final season. Take me through getting a script for the first time for Season 6. What's going through your mind?
Getting a script first time for Season 6. Well, obviously, it was just like, I don't know, it's kind of crazy because it's like, you get it and you're like, well, what's going to happen, right? Obviously, you want to know what the writers have been cooking it up for the past year.
Yeah.
So, you get the script, you read through it. Obviously, first episode. But it was pretty crazy, so I was just like, I mean, I think this happened for everyone. We were all like, well, what's happening next, right?
Yeah.
And the crazy thing about being on a set like this is not everybody has access to the script, and some people have access to, like, can know what's going to happen later on.
Yeah.
Because it's nothing's like set in stone, because the unique thing about Cobra Kai is they kind of write it as they go a little bit. So the end of the season wasn't fully even set in stone until a bit into the filming, right? And so everyone's like, "Oh my God, what's gonna happen?" And some people are like going up to the directors and they're like, "You think we can maybe add this in?" Or like they'll be asking like, "Oh wait, so what are we gonna do with this character?" And everyone's like curious about what's going on. So obviously, I kind of had some of that too. I was like, "Well, what's gonna happen?" So like, all the cast members, like we kind of like talk about it a little bit. We're like, well, what'd you hear about? We heard someone talking about there might be like this happening, and then someone might have heard that like something else is happening later on in the season. So yeah, that's kind of what happened as soon as I got to read some of the scripts. I immediately started talking with some of the other castmates, and they're like, what's gonna happen?
I'm not gonna waste time. I feel like you still have one of the best lines ever of an episode of Cobra Kai. They fucking kicked the shit out of me.
yeah, that was that was one of my favorite moments from the show too. Just the whole setup to that scene too, from like the makeup and everything.
Oh my God.
And that whole day was hectic because there was like a time crunch and everything.
I know.
But yeah, I'm glad it turned out well.
So it's crazy because Season 5 ends insane. I mean, the last episode was like a movie, right? At the Cobra Kai dojo. It was like an action movie, literally. There were swords. Like, it's out of control, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like Season 6, Part 1, the first 5 episodes, because we know we're getting 10 more episodes. But it's kind of a combination of like picking up where we left off, but also preparing for Sekai Taikai, right? So I'm just curious, like, how do you prepare for those scenes, like knowing that a lot of it is going to be kind of like calm before the storm, so to speak? Like, people are not seeing all the crazy stuff yet. They're setups. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we just go into it. Kind of. I mean, we all know how it works. We've been here for 5 seasons.
Yep.
We all know kind of how it can go down. We know it starts off a little, kind of calm, and then something happens and it goes a little crazy. But it was. I mean, we all know how to do it. We don't really. I mean, preparations. I think especially for most of us, it's.
Well, it was different. Like, it seemed like a lot of, like, obviously there's stunt doubles and everything, but there was obviously you're all trying to make the squad, right? So it's a lot of like, it's a lot of like prep and like competitions this season.
Mm-hmm. What I will say is this season was a lot more. I think the schedule was packed. Like, the schedule was packed. Like, we were doing things, and this season felt a little different because I think the directors they had shot some other. They've done some other things since last season. Mm-hmm. So I think that working on other sets have kind of like influenced their style just a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I feel like you can kind of see it you've seen the first 5 episodes. So you can probably see it. There's a little different vibe than the previous seasons. And I think I think it's and that comes comes down to like music choice and like everything, even just like the way it's kind of shot.
Yeah.
I think it just feels a little different, right? But yeah, I think it is definitely affected by what the directors have done since the last season.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Does it feel like from a storytelling acting perspective, because there's so much that happens before you go to camera on a season of Cobra Kai? So like, does it feel like there's like before filming Cobra Kai and after filming Cobra Kai, right? So you can see it as like two journeys. Do you see it as two journeys, or do you see it as one big journey with multiple steps from a storytelling acting perspective?
For me, I don't know. It's just like one big. It's just like I think it's like one big journey with like different steps.
Steps.
Yeah, they just like flow into each other. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
for sure.
So we're not gonna go into spoilers, right? But like, Nate gets cut. Like, you don't make the squad. You're not going to Barcelona.
Yeah.
How far in advance did you get those scripts? Like, where you knew who was gonna make it, dojo swaps. Like, it's not a season of Cobra Kai unless there's a dojo swap. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I heard like. I think they were kind of they weren't switching things last minute, but they were like there's so many possibilities when they went into season 6 of what could happen, right? And so I don't want to spoil anything, but they had like a lot of different things.
Well,
like
are you talking like part 1?
Yeah, part 1.
You can talk spoilers.
Yeah, no, I'm just talking about like it for the whole season, like.
Yeah,
there's so many ways.
Don't spoil part 2 or 3. No.
Of course. But yeah, there's so many different ways that the show could go.
Yeah.
And so the directors, they kind of were keeping it open until like usually they kind of set it in stone, the scripts in stone, a good bit before we film.
Yeah.
But for this season, they're trying to keep their options. I don't know exactly, but I think they're keeping their options open a little bit more.
Yep.
And so. And some people had heard things from like early on in the season, or like even before, and then they had like switched it. So I would hear some things about like what's happening, and I hear things from someone else, and it would be completely different. And then we get to the day of filming, and we'd see the actual like scripts, and it would be nothing. It would be different than what somebody had said previously.
Yeah.
And so yeah, but like. We didn't really get scripts that early, and most of the times I would just hear it from someone else rather than
Nate makes top 12, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that was really fun. That was pretty cool.
You made top 12, and it was you had a good Nate had a good effort in the whole thing.
Good run, yeah. We had a good run.
So I feel like. It's been 6 seasons, so you can really think about what I'm going to ask you. But it still feels like you're in a unique situation compared to other kind of actors, right? Because you're on a show that's based on like a universe we've seen before, but like now there's like so many new characters and like we've never seen them before. Do you still think about that? Like, you're really in a unique situation, I feel like, the cast of Cobra Kai.
Yeah, it's funny because sometimes you forget, like you get so caught up in Cobra Kai, you forget about the fact that there's Karate Kid, and there's the whole
universe
saga, the whole Karate Kid saga, and like just sometimes it's crazy to get reminded about that. Like my girlfriend, she just flew in from she went like on a vacation, and she was on the plane. She watched Karate Kid, and. She was like, yeah, I can't believe you like are related to this now in a way, and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, that is pretty freaking crazy, and it's not something that I think about that much. It's like every time like I think about it, it's just so crazy. Yeah, it's much bigger than just the show, I guess.
Do you have a favorite thing about like what is your this is big, and take your time. You know what I mean? It's a lot of questions, so take your time. What is your favorite thing about Cobra Kai as an actor working on it, and then as someone watching the show? Because I feel like it's two different things.
Actually, for me, I think they might be the same thing.
Really?
They might be the same thing, yeah.
What is it?
My favorite thing as an actor, right? working on Cobra Kai is just the fight scenes, getting to see them get set up, getting to try to do things on my own, and just watching like it's a different type of creative process. It's actually a lot more similar to like directors writing a script than you would think, because you get like the stunt coordinators, and like all the stunt guys, and they kind of just they're like bouncing ideas off the wall. They're like, okay, what if we do this? What if we do that? And they like plan all these things, and sometimes they'll ask the actors and they'll let us, be like, I think my character would want to do this a little more, or be like, oh, this would be more comfortable for me, which is really similar to how it works when directors or when writers are writing scripts. So yeah, that's probably my favorite part is, just getting to do all that stuff, fights and just stunts in general, I guess. I mean, it's always fun being able to do something, because it's not something that you get to do every day. So any stunts is probably, that's probably my favorite part of the show as an actor, and also as someone who watches the show. I mean, who doesn't like fight scenes, right? And yeah, obviously there's like a lot that like I didn't get to see personally, but like people tell me about it. They're like, yo, it was so crazy, like he like jumped off the table and blah blah, did this.
Oh my god, you fucking kicked the shit out of me.
Yeah, and then he threw him through a table, and they're like, tell me all these things. I'm like, really? Like, that's sick. But I never get to see it myself. And then the show comes out, and I get to watch them. So like, for example, that the frat house fight thing that went down. I had heard of so much about it, and I was trying to like imagine how it would look. And then so like I had like this image of it in my head, and I get to watch it, kind of like as a fan, I get to watch it, and it's way different than what I imagined. That's probably my favorite part about watching the show as a viewer. Yeah.
No, absolutely.
They see those fights,
for sure. Tons of fights. Season 6, part 1 of Cobra Kai streaming now worldwide on Netflix. Nate, always great catching up with you, man. Thank you so much for coming back on the show.
Yeah, it's been great. It's been great being here. Yeah, I mean, crazy. Season 6, last season. You guys got to check it out.
Absolutely. Your Instagram account is just your name for people to keep updated with everything?
Yeah, my Instagram is I'll just spell it out. It's OH.NATE with no spaces. Awesome. Yeah, you guys can. Yeah, I post there. I'll say not super frequently, but I try to. And you can definitely see some cool Cobra Kai stuff up on there. So yeah.
Absolutely. Well, it's been PopTurner, youtube.com/PopTurner for previous episodes. You can catch Nate as Nate in season 6, part 1 of Cobra Kai on Netflix. Till next time, it's Nate and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to PopTurnative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of PopTurnative on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.